So it has multiple options. You could say regenerate at the same time, okay? And you can also regenerate it at a set time. So it might still follow the timer based, but at least it is already primed for backwash. Hi guys, so in this video we're going to discuss about the difference between timer-based and volume-based softeners. Okay, some of the softeners that we sell are timer-based and some of them are volume-based. What I mean by timer-based and volume-based is actually the regeneration process, okay? So some use time as a basis for backwashing or regeneration, and the other one uses volume. Now, why does it matter? Let's discuss timer first. In timer-based regeneration softeners, the process is based on time. So what a technician does, or what we do, is we base it off of usually how many days it would need in order to regenerate the softener. This is really good if you know the specific volume that you're going to use per day. Usually it's good for production line or any company that knows the exact volume of water that they would need every single day, okay? But on volume base, it would depend on what's the grain capacity of the softener and what is the hardness of the water, and then you can do some calculations to get how much volume that the softener can produce before it would need to regenerate. Now this is more conducive for people who don't know how much water they use every day. And this is perfect for residential houses or even commercial establishments that have fluctuating water consumption every single day. Because sometimes you have a lot of people that come in and then the other days, not so many people, right? Or even in the house, some days you have guests over and then some days the owners themselves have gone for a vacation. So the volume fluctuates a lot, yeah? For them, volume-based would be perfect. Now, I'll give you an example of how they differentiate on number side. So let's say in a house, I'll take a residential example. So in a house, you have 4 people, okay? And how we compute for the volume consumption per day is we usually times it with 200 liters per person. Some people do 250, 200, and it's fine, right? You can, if you want to be safe, you can do 250. So four people times 200 liters is 800 liters per day, okay? That would be it. And now, let's say you used a timer-based softener and based on the size of the timer-based, again, a hypothetical example would be, we have a type 4 softener. So let's say type 4 softener gives you around 5,000 liters of runtime capacity, okay? When I say runtime, or it can also be called a filter runtime, okay? That means how many liters of water can the softener soften before it needs to be regenerated, okay? So this is one regeneration, then how much water you can soften or how much water the softener can soften, and then regeneration again. So that would be 5,000 liters if you're using our type 4 regular softener. Okay, now if you're using 800 liters per day, so the simple math would be to divide 5,000 with 800. Okay, so more or less you would get 800 times 5, 4, so around 6 days, okay? 6 days would be a very safe bet. Now, if you're using a timer-based softener, you would set the regeneration every 6 days. Okay? This is your 6 days regeneration. You see, a fundamental problem here is you are assuming something. And your assumption could be wrong because some days this number can change. So some days it could go high, some days it could go low. So there's never 100% guarantee that you might not have breakage of hard water. there's always a possibility. Okay, now let's discuss a volume-based. So if it was volume-based softener now, so we don't look here anymore, honestly, not anymore. So what we would do is, say you go with type 2 of our premium softener, which is a volume-based softener, and it also produced 5,000 liters per day of run time. Okay, it also gives you, it's just hypothetical. Again, these things are usually computed based on, say, if this is your okay, let's just circle back to this one. Let me finish this one. Okay, so type 2 softener, 5,000 liters of runtime. Now volume-based has it's also called metered head, and this softener has a sensor that knows the volume of water being used, or knows the number of liters being used. Okay, now if you have 5,000 liters of runtime, every time you open your faucet, this number continues to go down. Okay, and the moment it hits, and the moment it hits 0, so that means once all the water has been exhausted, it will regenerate. Okay, that's the regeneration. So once it hits 0, it will regenerate, and off you go for the next time. So it has multiple options. You could, say, regenerate at the same time. Okay, and you can also regenerate it at a set time. So it might still follow the timer based, but at least it is already primed for backwash. Now, this 5,000 liters could be consumed in 1 day. It could be consumed in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, or even 15 days. So no one knows when the 5,000 liters would have been fully consumed. But because the softener monitors this, so it will backwash once the 5,000 liters have been exhausted. Okay, now how do you compute for the how do we compute for the runtime? So we know how many liters of resin we have put in here, and the resin has its own grain capacity. Okay, so let's say type 2 has 80,000 grains capacity. Okay, and your water hardness could be around 100 ppm. Okay, again, there's a difference between TDS and hardness. Hardness is the total hardness of the water, while TDS is the total dissolved solids. That also includes the hardness. Usually TDS is higher than the hardness. So let's say your total hardness is 100 ppm and you have 80,000 grains of resin capacity. So what you do is you divide this by 17.1, and you get a capacity of around 5.8 grains per gallon. Okay, so this would be it. And then all you have to do is divide this with 5.8 grains per gallon, would be around 13,700 liters. Okay, and then just for safety purpose, you times it with 0.5 to 7,000 liters. Okay, so you see how total hardness and your grain capacity will alter your final number. Now, if you don't know these things, how would you do it, right? And then you also have to look at the production time, or you have to look at the runtime of the establishment, commercial. Usually if it's commercial, you also have to see what's the safety net on top of this one. You still need to know the safety net. You need to know how much salt you're going to use. So we give you all these little informations that are very critical in running a water softener. Yeah, that's why so much effort goes into a volume-based softener, and then very little effort goes into timer-based, because again, I could set it easily. Yeah, I hope this video helps. There are many softeners that come into the market. We ourselves have timer-based and volume-based, so you need to know what you're buying, and this information, I hope it really helps. See you in the next video.